People say to me, how can you be MAGA? MAGA is racist. MAGA is again, and they say, right.
Pastor Lorenzo.
This is part of the ideology of the Democratic Party. They say MAGA is about recreating the 1950s when you had Joe McCarthy suppressing free speech, when you had no civil rights for blacks in this country. But I ask President Trump, when you say make America great again, to what era is the again referred to? And he said it refers to the Kennedy administration. When our country, America was at its apex. We owned half the wealth on the face of the earth. The American middle class was the greatest economic engine ever devised in our country. Every American understood that if you worked hard, if you played by the rules, you could finance a home. You could take a summer vacation. You could raise a family. You could put something aside for your retirement on a single job. And during that administration, everybody around the world wanted American products, and we were building it for them. Automobiles, they wanted our cars, our transistor radios, our blue jeans. All of these things were built here in America on our industrial base. And we were the moral authority around the world. People all over the world wanted American leadership. They knew the difference, which this administration does not, between leadership and bullying. And President Trump, if you saw, I was so proud of him during that press conference with Zelensky, when he was very firm and he said, we're going to end the war. And he didn't back down. He said, this is what we need to do. And that's where we need to start. And that is what, to me, MAGA means. It means going back to the place we were during the Kennedy administration, when America was at the apex of its greatness. It's a message of optimism. It's a message of idealism. It's a message of hope. That's what it's a symbol for. It's not a symbol for, and it's a symbol not for isolationism, but it's a symbol for projecting economic power abroad and moral authority abroad rather than military power.
Bobby, absolutely. You were speaking to the goods and services, getting more American goods and services here. We're in Michigan, the heartbeat of the auto workers, the heartbeat of all of our incredible cars that we've been making for so long. How do we keep these jobs from being outsourced to other countries? How do we keep them here and then build upon that? Is tariffs a main key part of that? And what else do you think would be a part of that?
Well, it's definancializing our economy, taking money away from taking power away from the Fed. The job of the Fed is like a pump. Its function, it operates on behalf of a few Wall Street banks. And its function is to act like a pump. It is literally strip mining the wealth and equity away from the American middle class, shifting it up where companies in this country and financial institutions, when I was a kid, they would go out, if you wanted to make an investment, they'd go out and look at all the factories. They'd go to Michigan, they'd go to Detroit, they'd go to other parts of our country, and they'd look at the factories and they'd say, what does the management team look like? What are the production figures? What are the financial figures? What is the bank book? What is the inventory? They'd look at that and then they'd make a financial bet. That doesn't happen today. The only thing they're focused on Wall Street is, what is the Fed going to do next? And our country's been financialized, and we've allowed all of the industry to leave our country, and it's now in China. We've outsourced it. And I talked with Tulsi about this the other day. During World War II, we won World War II. We were the arsenal of democracy because we were making ball bearings in this country. We were making sheet metal. We were making automobiles, and all those factories could be repurposed to create 56,000 airplanes a year, a ship a day, and all of the tanks and everything else. So we had the capacity to actually win an all-out war, conventional war. We couldn't do that anymore. We're going to get beaten in war. We cannot produce anything in this country anymore. You know this. We've ended the trades. kids don't even know how to work in factories. They don't know how to build things anymore. President Trump understands that and understands that we have to change the way business is done in this country. Focus on our country, not on China. He says, I don't want wars, I want to make deals. And I want to make the kind of deals that help us here and regrow our country. And I'll say one last thing. In 1992, Ross Perot ran. And the Democrats, and Ross Perot said, if you have NAFTA, if you have these, which, the Democrats opposed, if you have NAFTA, if you have all these trade agreements, what you're going to hear a giant sucking sound from Mexico, and all the jobs are going to go down there. John Deere is going to Mexico now, and of course it's going to do that. It's in its interest. If we had a tariff that penalized them for that, they wouldn't do that. They'd leave their factories here in Michigan and elsewhere around the world, and that is narrow focus of Donald Trump, and the Democrats have zero plan for bringing jobs, for getting our children into houses, for lowering the price of groceries, for lowering the price of gasoline. President Trump is narrowly focused on those things for the American people, and the Democrats have no plan except for more of the same.